What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. It is time to unbox a 50 mile an hour dual motor mini electric bike. We're gonna unbox it, assemble it, get it out on the road, see if my 6'3" self can fit on this little mini pocket bike, and see if it really goes 50 miles an hour. Hit that subscribe button, let's get it unboxed. Wow, this scooter is quoted at 114 pounds, and it's heavy. There it is, it's literally just like this. Look at that thing. There it is.
You don't even need to put it together.
Dude, the RoadRunner Pro, and look at that. Look at these tires, that's just a straight up motor built into the wheel. Disc brakes, are they hydraulic? Wow. They are hydraulic. Hydraulic disc brakes. We got fenders, front and back to help you
Suspension,
with
front and
the
rear.
rain. Yep, suspension front and rear. Yeah, inverted fork like a moto. We have a headlight right here, which is bent, but we'll figure that out. So, pretty sweet. Slightly off center there. But dang, so this is the size. I mean,
That's teeny.
like that's sick.
No, it's silent.
Yeah, but I can do my own sound effects if I want. Let's see how heavy it is. Oh, it is quite heavy. I think 114 pounds is what Alex quoted a minute ago. Let's get this handlebar on. Ooh, there's the display. Nice big display. Domino throttle, no way. Domino throttle, that's like a name brand throttle, you guys. If you don't know, it's name brand. Okay guys, it's time to fire it up for the very first time. We got the battery plugged in, we're hitting the power button. Okay, let's check out this display. Oh, that looks super sick. Okay, let's spin it up. Oh, it's quiet. That says 54 miles an hour and I can talk over it. They're just silent. Front wheel drive too, rear wheel drive. That's crazy. A little bit of wobbling and brake rub that we gotta address, but I think you won't really notice those things if you're riding. I mean, we'll adjust the brake. All right, you guys, the RoadRunner Pro went together super quick and easy. All we had to do was put the handlebar and the stem extender on. They were just folded away right here. Alex installed our foot pegs, and then we bent our headlight brackets back straight. It really wasn't that big of a deal. It was bent all the way to the side. Now we're pretty much good and true. Before I get into all the specs, if you guys are interested in a RoadRunner Pro or any other scooter or bike models that Voro Motors has for sale, check our link in the description. We also have a discount code, so go ahead and use that on any of their products. So getting into the specs, I am actually super interested in this bike because it's different from all the other bikes that we have. We have lots of, mini e-motos, electric dirt bikes, all that kind of stuff, and they all have more of a centralized motor with a chain drive instead of actual hub motors. And so hub motors are super smooth and quiet on the road, and I've never ridden a bike that had a motor in the front. So I'm super curious to kind of feel how that torque steer and things go, like if it actually sort of pulls you forward in a different sensation. I've ridden dual motor scooters, so that's kind of what this is. This is like scooter technology, scooter motors in a bike frame. So it's kind of cool and unique. This bike is supposed to go 50 miles an hour with a full-size rider. It does have a 330-pound weight limit, which is super heavy. I mean, that just means that this bike is beefy and solid, which is great. Even if you're a lighter rider, it's just nice to know that you're gonna be supported. This has a giant removable 60-volt, 30-amp-hour battery, so it can be slid right out the back here. It does have a plug to plug it into your bike right here, and then the charge port is over on this side. To be able to remove it, you do have to pop your key in here, give it a quick turn, and then there's a handle that folds out where you can slide the battery straight out. Moving on up to the cockpit up here, we have several different buttons. We've got a main display screen, which is very bright. You can get into some super cool modes in here. So you can actually cycle through like brightness, you can change your clock, your time system, how long you want it to stay on, your wheel size, if you were able to switch from different wheels than these stock 14-inch Supermotos. There's advanced settings, there's batteries where you can actually go in and see like the voltage and the state of charge of your battery. So we're at 90% right now, you know, 63.8 volts. It's just nice stuff to know, and I appreciate that they included that in this bike because a lot of other bikes don't include any of that. You can't change any setting. So I like that they did that for us. If we go back to, so we've got our kind of our toggle buttons, our mode button. This is going to be our power on button. So push that, turned off. Here we have our horn and our turn signal. So I'll turn it back on and I'll show you how that works. Also, we have our headlight switch. So now that it's on, let's try our headlight. So it's off right now. You can toggle that on. We're curious to see how bright that is at night. If we move on to the back, let's check our turn signal. So we do have a brake light. So brake light, anytime I pull either of the brakes, and then look at those turn signals. So that is super slick. So that's going left. If you want to go right, or that's both pressed, so that's like your hazards. If you unpress that one, then we're turning right. So that super bright light bar on there, brake light included. It's going to keep you safe out on the road. So again, this bike goes 50 miles an hour, so you're going to be ripping around. Horn, whoa. That's a loud horn. That's good too, because if you get in a situation where you need to let a car know that you're there, you want a loud horn to be able to do that. I like that they do this bar riser as well. I was a little confused at first because I felt like this would be really high, but once sitting on it, especially at my height at 6'3", feel really comfortable. We also have this stem that is an adjustable riser, so you can loosen this Allen key right here, and you can adjust this up or down depending on the angle you want. Moving on to brakes, we have hydraulic disc brakes that have 200mm rotors, front and rear, and they feel really nice. And I think those brakes are going to provide a lot of stopping power to this bike. We have a Domino throttle over here. Again, I mentioned this in the beginning of the video. Domino is kind of a name brand throttle, and so that should work and perform really well. We also have dual suspension. So we've got kind of these springs in the back, this inverted fork in the front. I don't think this is going to be super premium suspension, but I think it's going to take the edge off of those, you know, little potholes, road bumps, things like that, and just make you have a little bit of a smoother ride. You also have quite a bit of space right here. I think if you wanted to strap some kind of basket or something, you know, even right here, you could potentially build like a shelf if you wanted to go run to the store and get groceries. I think this bike could really be adapted to have more functionality in that way. Let's come back to the screen, and now that we have our main screen showing again, so this is going to have your miles per hour right in the middle. If I start going, you guys can see, you know, it speeds up. Don't mind our brake rubbing. But that is mode 1. So it's kind of hard to see there, but we've got modes 1 through 5. You'll toggle those over here with your plus button. So you can see it change, go on 2, 3, 4, and 5. Those are set up kind of like other electric scooters we've seen where each mode goes up 20% in overall power from the battery. So mode 1 is only 20% of max power, mode 2, 40, 60, 80, and then 100, you know, so on. We've spun it up on the stand in mode 5 with no weight on the bike. We got it up to 71 miles an hour. Super fast. Mode 2, we were hitting like 54. So I really believe this bike is going to be able to go 50 with a rider on it out on the road. So we'll get out and test that in a second. We do have our time right here, our clock. We already set that up in the settings. We have our battery voltage again. You can check that out. We have our controller temperature. Just all this stuff that you really, you know, like to know. I think they even have watts here. So that's super cool. It just tells you how much power you're actually using at any given time. I didn't really mention the power of the motors. They are each a 2,000 watt motor. Combined, they will get you 4,000 watts of power from the 60 volt battery and controller setup. So this bike should absolutely rip, and I think it's gonna be like a silent killer where you can literally rip around in full silence. No one's gonna know you're there. Okay guys, I think it's time to head out and test this bike out on the road, test the top speed, see how it feels and performs. If you guys are enjoying this video, hit that subscribe button. We're growing our channel. We really appreciate you guys' support. Let's head out and try it out. All right, maiden voyage on the Voro Motors RoadRunner Pro. This thing is actually super comfortable, even at my height, 6'3". It feels awesome. It has this super wide bar, which is definitely comfy when you're riding it. I have swapped it into just rear wheel drive. So this bike has dual motors. So it has a motor in the front, motor in the back, which is super unique for most e-bikes. That's definitely more common in the scooter world. And this bike is sort of a cross between a scooter and an e-bike because it has sort of scooter parts, scooter motors, controllers, batteries, things like that. They're obviously electric, but they're kind of like set up more towards a scooter. And this display is kind of like other scooters we've ridden. Voro Motors is known for their scooters. So we're gonna see how this baby does. Right now I just have the single motor. We're cruising, we're doing 27. I'm gonna pop it into dual motor here. Whoa, oh, holy cow, I felt that power kick right in. It is pulling me up the hill. We're gonna go up here and do a top speed run. All right, it's time for this top speed run. We got full power on dual motor. Here we go, I'm gunning it. Oh, this thing's supposed to go like 50 miles an hour. I'm a little scared. It's so small. Oh, okay, we're doing 40, 44, 45. All right, we're slowing down. Okay, I think that's about all she had. Our battery is not fully charged though, so we are actually closer to like 60% battery. We're not super high. So let's pull out the GPS because I tracked that on our GPS second computer. Let's see how fast we really got on the GPS. And I almost guarantee this would go a few miles an hour faster with a full charge.
That thing is so quiet.
It is quiet. It is super quiet. So we hit like 45, 46 on the display when I got brave enough to look down. And then, oh, we got 47.2 on our GPS. So, yep, let me get this reset. 47.2, and we're literally sitting at like 50% battery. So I have no doubt in my mind this will do 50 plus miles an hour with a full charge. And I'm 6'3", 185 pounds, so I'm no small guy on this little thing. So that's pretty awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for a drag race. We have the Talaria XXX versus Voro Motors RoadRunner Pro. Okay, Al, you ready? Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, that didn't launch that hard. Oh, I'm pulling now. He definitely got me at the beginning there. Okay, guys, rolling race. Okay, on 3, 1, 2, 3, go. Not bad. I held my own pretty good on there for this whole time. So from a stopped drag race, this bike just doesn't have the torque that that bike does. This bike just has the dual motors, which is awesome, but they have their hub motor. So they have no chain, no sprocket, no extra torque. They're not able to be geared down, where that bike has a lot of torque the way it's set up. So on a rolling race, they're actually very similar. He pulled a little bit, but we held pretty consistently. So I think we need to talk about who this bike is for, and that's kind of a question I'm wondering myself. Riding it here, I don't know who it's for exactly, but I can tell you how it feels when I ride it, and that is super smooth, like extremely, extremely smooth, to where, because there's no chain, like I said, no sprocket, no having to spin pedals, it just has motors inside the wheel. So that's the only thing that is actually spinning, turning. You know, there's almost zero friction as well. So when you let off the throttle, you coast like no other e-bike I've ever felt. It just coasts and is extremely smooth and extremely quiet, which does make it sort of a silent killer because of how small it is, how fast it is, and to be frank, how comfy it is. Even at 6'3", I am very, very comfortable on this bike, way more comfortable than I would say 90% of every other e-bike I've ridden, and I'm not exaggerating. I am very surprised at how comfy I feel on this bike. I think part of it being just the seat angle, the wide bar, it just feels extremely comfy. I keep saying extremely, sorry about that, you guys. It's also just fast. I'm in just single motor right now, and I'm doing 33. So I don't even have the front motor turned on, which I think for the majority of people, this is how you would ride, because the front motor is fun and all, but every time you slow down and make a turn kind of like I'm doing, you're peeling out that front motor. Like, you can do that front motor burnout, which is a super fun sensation. But if it's wet or something, I think there is some cause for sliding, peeling out. Like, if you grab a handful of throttle in the faster ride modes, like the more powerful modes, it's gonna spin pretty hard and pretty fast to where it might not be good. So I like the single motor, and it has plenty of power at my size and weight to go 35 miles an hour, even at like 40% battery, which we're getting down to right now. This does have a very large battery and is performing super well. I love ripping this thing. I think this is a bike that's gonna stay around in our collection for a long time. I think we should probably hand it over to Alex. He's gonna get off that more expensive, more powerful XXX.
What's up, guys? It's Alex sitting on the RoadRunner Pro. This is one of my first times actually riding this on the road, so this is going to be my real first thoughts and impressions, and so far it's pretty good. I was a little worried that this bike, being how it is so small and me being like 6 feet, that it would be uncomfortable to ride, but they've put you in a really nice position where your feet are planted, your knees aren't too high. It feels really comfortable to ride, surprisingly. Something that I always look for in a bike like this is the throttle response. I think Voro Motors did a great job with this bike, that the throttle is snappy, it's good, the power kicks in really nice, and the overall throttle curve is really smooth. Even in that top 5 setting where you're running both motors going full speed, it feels really smooth. You kind of just feel like you're sitting in a chair. It's really nice.
Okay, I just had to stop and just re-emphasize how comfortable that bike is. Like,
That's all I was talking about so far.
Like, I love how comfortable this bike is, and I got off of that bike and onto this bike, and I was more comfortable on that bike. Like, seriously, I can't believe, like, the super wide bar, the totally flat seat, which is a comfy seat. This one, I feel like I'm leaning more forward, lower bar. That is super impressive for a bike that small, that me at 6'3" can just be comfy. But I also think it would be comfy for someone 5'5" or someone small. I think that's awesome. I'm super impressed so far. Front wheel drive.
Let's go.
I love when the front tire just burns out every time you launch it. It's fun. Just a whole different experience.
If you guys are interested in purchasing this scooter slash bike sort of thing, check our description. We've got a discount code below, and head over to Voro Motors. They'll hook you guys up. We've had this bike for about a week now, just around the house. Other people have ridden it, they've loved it, and I've gotten to test this headlight a little bit, and it is very bright. You're getting a good headlight with this purchase. This is a rough road. I'm trying to take the bumpy routes, and the suspension's holding up really well. Here's a bigger pothole. I'm gonna miss that. But the suspension's holding up pretty well. It's kind of just taking the edge off. Nothing too special. I do love that it's dual suspension. If it wasn't, I would not feel comfortable going fast on this thing at all. So far, guys, I'm really liking it. It's really comfortable. Guys, I feel like I could just ride this all day. I would ride this to my friend's house. Since I don't live where we film, I could just commute like the 10 minutes it takes to get there on this thing. Probably not in the winter, as it'd be too cold, but this thing's fun. Okay, guys, this is Lance. I'm back on the RoadRunner Pro. We're kind of getting ready to wrap up this video and just, you know, do a quick little recap here. We've been having a ton of fun out on this bike. It's keeping up with the big heavy hitters, like the Talaria XXX is more expensive, more powerful. That's the E-Ride Pro SS. That's a newer e-moto that came out, and this thing is holding its own. I am not getting left behind. I mean, the 50 mile an hour top speed on this bike is super impressive. Let's do another little top speed run here. I'm doing 42 already. That's awesome. And yet, all I can hear is wind because the bike is so quiet. Usually on the other e-moto models or e-bikes, you hear chain, you hear sprocket, you hear tires. The bike ends up being the loudest thing, where on this, that is not the case. This bike is darn near silent. Okay, guys, we're gonna wrap up this video, and honestly, we're gonna give this RoadRunner Pro a glowing review. I freaking love this bike, and I think it is a great buy. The other thing I just want to emphasize here is we were sent this bike for free from Voro Motors. It's our first time working with them as a company.
we are not getting paid to say that this bike is good. We don't have any stipulations that we have to follow for this video. We can say we hate the bike if we hate it. Like we try to be as honest and genuine as we can in our videos for you guys, and that's the case in this video as well. We really enjoy this bike, and I think it is a awesome product, and I think you guys are gonna have a great time out on it. If you guys are interested in purchasing, again, hit up Voro Motors, link in our description, use our discount code, get yourself a sick RoadRunner Pro. They also have a ton of scooter models, which I would guess are also great quality and super fast. So we hope to be able to test more from them in the future. We appreciate you guys watching. Hit that subscribe button, and we'll catch you next video. See ya!